We hit 10,000 subscribers. I just can't even believe it. Thank you all so much. It's been absolutely amazing. And in a couple weeks, it'll actually be 3 years since I've been doing this channel. So not too bad. 10,000 in 3 years. I'll take it. So how did we get here anyway? I do kind of want to share with you just some of the milestones that I've hit in this last 3 years. So I started the channel on March 24th of 2020. Obviously that was right at the beginning of the pandemic, and which I'm sure a lot of other people started their channels around that time as well. And by March 1st of 2021, so just under a year, I was monetized. And for those of you who don't know, to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours. And I had actually hit 2,000 subscribers by that February before, but I hadn't hit the watch time hours yet. So it took another couple of weeks to hit that the watch time hours. So I was monetized on March 1st. And then my next milestone was 5,000, and that I hit on January 20th, 2022. And now we're at 10,000, and I hit that on March 6th of 2023. So, I mean, I honestly have no idea how this ranks up with other YouTubers. I've definitely seen others that seemingly, like, as soon as they come on board, they just have like 100,000 subscribers immediately. I have no idea how that happens. If anybody knows, please tell me. And then others that, I've followed for a really long time, and they just kind of hover around maybe 20,000 subscribers. So, yeah, YouTube's just kind of a weird thing sometimes. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's, I don't know, you're able to really pin down what that algorithm wants, and you feed the algorithm gods and they give you what you want. But that has not happened to me yet. So we're still working towards that. But for this 10,000 subscriber celebration, I wanted to do a Q&A. So as you know, I put out a prompt on all of my social media to have you guys ask me a bunch of questions, which you guys totally delivered. Thank you so much. Probably not going to get to all of the questions today because I really don't want this to be an hour-long video. But I don't know, maybe I'll answer them in other posts or other on social media otherwise. But anyway, I did get a lot of questions in regards to my YouTube channel, kind of how I do things, and some process questions, and I just wanted to put it out to you guys and see if it was something that you would be interested in knowing a little bit more about, I guess, how YouTube works. I'm obviously no expert. I am not a huge YouTuber at all. I am still very, very micro. But I've learned a lot in the last 3 years, and just wanted to put it out to you guys. If it's something that you're interested in knowing more about my process, how it all works, or maybe even if I were starting a new YouTube channel in 2023, here's what I would do, kind of a thing. Obviously, it is not my normal content, but if it's something that you would be interested in, I would be more than happy to put a video together for you. So just let me know in the comments or send me a message, and we'll see if we can make that work. Okay, let's get on with the questions. So first question, does your husband dress in vintage style? And I think I've answered this already, but yes, he does, but mostly just on the weekends. It's just not practical for him to wear vintage for work. So he just reserves that for the weekends and, anytime that we're doing some sort of event or something together. What is your favorite flavor of tea? I love Earl Grey. That is my favorite flavor. I love a London Fog, which is like a tea latte that generally has like a vanilla syrup in it. If I'm out in the afternoon, I typically don't drink coffee in the afternoon. So if I'm out in the afternoon and I want to get something, I will always get a London Fog. But I usually drink coffee in the mornings and then tea in the afternoon. I don't know why that is. Caffeine doesn't really affect me that much, but I don't know. It just feels right. I know I've answered this question before, but for those of you who are new here, the question is, how long have you been dressing in repro or vintage? And so 31 or 31 years. I started dressing in vintage style when I was about 16, and I'm going to be 47 tomorrow. So yeah, 31 years. What is your favorite spring flower? Well, I mean, how do you not like a flower? I like all flowers. Flowers are just spectacular. But I guess if I had to pick a favorite, I would have to pick tulips. When we were living in Germany, we had a self-picking flower plot thing right up the road from us. And they would plant, you know, all through the seasons, they would plant different flowers, and you just go and you pick your flowers, and they always had tulips in the spring. They had a little box there, so you just plop in the money. It was all done on the honor system. So I always had fresh tulips in the spring. I can just walk up there, cut the tulips that I want, and yeah, it was fabulous. I really wish that I had that again. So I got this question, very similar question, a couple of times. So do you ever run into, or have you run into family members or friends giving you grief about dressing vintage? And then do you get any negative attention when people see your vintage outfits? And honestly, I've been really fortunate, and I've not had a lot of negativity for my style. My mom was pretty fabulous, and so I think it was just kind of expected since I am her daughter, that I would, you know, kind of follow in those footsteps. So I don't think it was a real surprise to anybody in my family. And as far as friends are concerned, no. I mean, most of my friends dress in vintage. And, you know, if they're going to say something mean or not be nice or not support you in your style, then they're not going to be your friends. And as far as negative attention in the public, again, I've been really fortunate. I've not had any, at least to my face. People may talk about me behind my back. I don't know, and I don't care. Honestly, I don't even care if they talk about me in front of my face. But no, I really haven't had a lot of negative attention for it. I think just having the confidence and just kind of knowing that you love what you're wearing kind of shuts that down a lot. People who are going to be negative and people that are going to be mean, they want to hurt you. And if you just have the confidence in what you're wearing, they know that they can't, so they're not even going to try. How did you fall in love with everything vintage? I mean, it was definitely I feel like I was kind of born into it, but that was also very gradual. My mother, again, was very fabulous. You know, she was dressed head to toe, just glamorous and wonderful and fabulous all the time. And so I was just kind of like brought up at least with that aspect, maybe not the vintage aspect, although she was very much into the, you know, kind of Hollywood style and everything. She was born in 1942, so that was just kind of her, you know, her era and her way of life growing up anyway. But I don't know. It was just when I was trying to find my own style, and we used to shop at thrift stores a lot. And back then in the 90s, it was much easier to find vintage of the 30s and 40s and 50s, and it fit my body really well. And it just, I don't know, it just made me feel really good. It made me feel comfortable. And so knowing that and just kind of having the glamour aspect of it, it just kind of, I don't know, that morphed into what I am now. How long did it take you to perfect your style, makeup, and hair? Do I have any beginning photos? So first of all, I have not perfected it. I am constantly evolving. I definitely feel like I'm at a point now that I have a bunch of hairstyles that I have down pat, that I can get them done really quickly. And, I've been doing this same makeup routine for 20 years. So it's just kind of, I don't know, I'm not very, as far as with my makeup, I don't change things up very often. The only thing I change up is my lipstick color, but it's always still going to be red, pretty much. And so just trying new things out. But yeah, I'm always evolving. My style has definitely evolved, and I don't know, maybe at some point I'll do a video on my style evolution. As far as beginning photos are concerned, I'd have to go through my photo albums, which are currently in storage. But I will say, because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, I don't have any digital photos of my progression. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to think of, any specific photos that would really show my progression. I have a couple that I'll go through, and if it's not enough to do a whole video on, maybe I'll just post them on Instagram. But um, yeah, we just didn't take a lot of photos like that back then. I have a lot of photos of everybody else, but I don't have a lot of photos of myself, um, except when I was a little kid. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I'll go through my photo albums and see what I can find for you. This one's kind of funny. Do you really dress vintage 24/7? Sometimes I have the impression that some content creators only dress vintage for content creation and not exactly as a personal style. I hope this doesn't sound rude. It's a really genuine question. Dressing vintage inspired really suits and flatters you. Well, thank you. Yes, I do really dress this way 24/7. But I wanted to say too that, like, it's okay if everybody else doesn't. It's perfectly fine either way. Um, the only time that it's bad is if it's being presented that they do, and then that they don't in fact. But if they don't dress in vintage every day, that's perfectly fine. That's Everybody has their level of comfort of, maybe they want to hold on to some of their modern stuff. Maybe they have family and friends that, they don't want to be dressed in vintage when they go out with them. But for me personally, yes, I dress this way every day, 24 hours. The only thing that I have that is modern, or at least modern style, because I have modern clothing. It's just reproduction where it's vintage looking. But the modern style clothes that I have are my workout gear, and that is it. And even those, like, I hate yoga pants, but Land's End has some really nice comfortable pants, and just t-shirts for working out, and then I have a pair of tennis shoes. But other than that, like, it just makes me happy. It really does. I'm uncomfortable in modern style clothes. Physically and emotionally uncomfortable in modern style clothes. So for my own well-being, for my own mental health, yeah, vintage style just absolutely makes me happy, and that is what I wear all the time. What was your first vintage piece? What article of clothing kind of started your whole journey? Doesn't have to be legitimate vintage, just something vintage inspired. So as I had said before in my vintage journey video, that brooches actually were really the kind of the conduit for my vintage journey. I had started buying brooches when I was quite young, and I just felt like that was a way for me to kind of bring in that vintage, um, just a little bit of a vintage flair, I guess, to wearing, even my modern clothing. So I don't remember what my very first brooch was, to be honest. But I think my very first vintage article of clothing was, and I do think I have a picture of it, I'll have to find that, was this plaid, like a Madras plaid shirt dress that I got at a thrift store that I wore. I am not kidding you. I wore this thing until it fell apart. And then I mended some parts of it because I was getting some holes and the pockets were coming off, and I mended that. And then it just got to the point where it was literally just gonna fall off my body. But I loved that dress. It was so comfortable, and I just felt so cute and comfortable, and yeah, I loved it. I loved that thing to death. So congratulations. I'm wondering what your most treasured piece of vintage is. Now I'm assuming that you mean vintage clothing. So I think my most treasured piece is the dress that I wore on my first date with my husband. I still have the dress. It does not fit me any longer, but I will never get rid of it. I will always have that dress. It's gorgeous and lovely, and I think it was made, it's definitely a homemade dress, but I think it was made from a tablecloth. It's this beautiful kind of lace, little see-through cream colored, and I wore just a black slip underneath. I loved that dress so much. It's a shirt dress, and which we all know is my favorite. But yeah, I loved that dress. I felt amazing in it. And of course has the memory attached that, it was the dress that I wore on my first date with my husband. These two kind of go together, even though they are by two different people. What is key when deciding on a color palette for your clothes? And do you feel happier in certain colors? So as far as the color palette is concerned, I'm not sure if I completely understand the question. Meaning like color palette for just my whole wardrobe, or just like the outfit that I'm wearing. But I just did a video on color coordination, and honestly, I don't have I don't know, like a rule or anything like that for my color coordination. It's whatever makes me happy, whatever makes me feel good. And there's definitely times where I'll put something together and be like, yeah, there's something off about that. Not exactly sure what it is. I can't really pinpoint it. But I guess my answer to that would be just, what is the key to deciding on a color palette? Does it make you feel happy? Does it make you feel good? Do you feel something positive when you have those colors together? That's what's important. And then, do you feel happier in certain colors? Yeah, I think I do. I definitely feel happier in like yellows and oranges, but also blue is like, I have more blue in my wardrobe than any other color. So obviously I like blue. So there's, when I'm saying happier, like sometimes I just want to feel comfortable and that makes me happy. And sometimes the brightness of the yellows or oranges, like literally just kind of brightens everything and makes me happy in that way. But yeah, just color in general just makes me happy. And, being able to put color combinations together that, I don't know, they do something, when you put something together that just looks right, it's just, it's wonderful. It's amazing. And in and of itself will make me happy. Would you ever do a meet and greet? I'm a big fan of yours. Well, thank you very much. Honestly, when I read this question, it kind of threw me for a loop because it is nothing, I've never, ever, ever thought about it. Never. But I'm not opposed to it. I'm not against it. But it's hard for me to believe that anybody would, want to meet me like in a specific kind of meet and greet thing. Like I've met fans, I've met followers, at events and stuff like that, where they just kind of happen to run into me, or they see me from across the way and run into me. And that kind of makes sense. But somebody to like specifically go somewhere at a scheduled time just to meet me is just like beyond my comprehension that anybody would want to do that. Um, but I mean, I wouldn't say no. I think it would be amazing to meet you guys. With my Patreon, I have a monthly meetup with them. We have a monthly discussion for my New Look members. And I love that. I look forward to that so much every month. And I mean, it's just a Zoom meeting, but I get to meet you guys. I get to, learn more about you, and just, we have such a great time, and I really enjoy that. So, yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't even know what that would look like. If y'all know what that would look like, if that's something that you guys want to do, let me know. But I can't even wrap my head around it. What do you use to record your YouTube videos? Phone, camera, etc. So this is actually kind of funny because we just did my Patreon meeting yesterday was all about photography and videos and like what I use, my equipment and stuff. So as of right now, I am using an iPhone 11 to film all of my videos. It's working fine, it's okay, but it is not what I want. I want to be able to use an actual camera. There's a lot of issues that I come across with using my phone. But it's working fine for now. And of course I use my phone for all of my reels and TikToks and stuff like that too. So, but I am saving for an actual real camera and a real microphone, because that's another issue that I have is sound. And yeah, so that's what I'm working with right now. How much do you approximately earn a month with YouTube and Co? I'm assuming that's like all of my social media and all that stuff. And what exactly did you do for work before becoming a vintage influencer? What was your intention to go online with your style? So I know that it can be very difficult to talk about money, and I'm not gonna lie and say that I wasn't hesitant to talk about this, but I do think that we need to talk more openly about money in general. And I think it's important to be transparent, especially in, with this content creator thing. I think it's important that you guys kind of know a little bit about this and how it all works. So I'm going to tell you. So I don't have all of my numbers right here in front of me, but I can give you kind of an idea. So the way that YouTube works is we get ad revenue from Google AdSense. And once you get monetized on your channel, then you can start to put ads on your videos, and you get money for that. You have to, in order to like actually get a paycheck, you have to have a minimum of $100 per that calendar month in ad revenue. So from my first month, I didn't quite hit the $100, and so it rolls over to the next month. But since then, I have consistently gotten a paycheck from YouTube. And so it's normally about, I think it's at right now, I'm getting more like $160 a month. But before, like early on, I was hitting $100. There was one month where I got like $100.32. So I was able to get that payout. So at where I'm at right now with, 10,000 subscribers, I'm getting on average about $150, $160 a month. But being a content creator, to make this profitable, to make this, I hate to say it, but worthwhile, you really have to diversify, and you have to have a lot of different revenue streams in order to make this work. Because unless you are a huge YouTuber and you've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers and, you know, your RPM and your CPM is really high and, you know, you're getting that monthly paycheck, you're getting paid $160 a month to do this. So my background is in marketing and public relations, and I will get more into my background with that. So I learned early on to diversify and to have multiple streams of revenue. So yes, I have YouTube. I have, I get paid for Instagram Reels for now. They just notified all of us creators that they are not going to pay us anymore. So that part is going away, which sucks. I have affiliate marketing. So I do make some money with affiliate marketing. And then of course I have my Patreon, which honestly, if I didn't have my Patreon, things would be really, really tough to do this every single month. And then I have my beauty sessions, my vintage style and beauty sessions. And I do, I don't know, probably maybe one or two a week. And that helps a lot. So I would say with all of my revenue streams, well, up till right now, which with Instagram going away, that's gonna really suck. That's gonna pull things, make things very difficult. But anyway, I think I probably make around $800 to $900 a month. There's definitely been better months that, you know, I've made like $1,000 or $1,200 in the month. And all of these things are variable too. There's, you know, it just depends on, like with Instagram, how many reels you've done, and how many views you've gotten on those reels. And then with your affiliate marketing, how much of that have you promoted and those affiliate sales. So that's totally variable. That changes every month. You know, my Patreon is pretty much the only thing that's pretty steady. But of course that's still till, you know, if more people join or some people drop off, that's a little bit variable as well. So it's not a lot. It's definitely not anything that I could survive off of, definitely. Thankfully, my husband is continuing to support us and this venture. But, you know, that's what we as content creators just work towards is getting more. And so we're able to do the things that, you know, be able to have that financial stability so we can continue to work on our content for you guys. Okay, and then so just going into like what I did before I became a vintage influencer. So my background is in marketing and public relations. That was my career a gazillion years ago. I did that for 12 years. I got really burnt out on that very quickly. And so I went back to school and I became a massage therapist. And then I went back to school again and became an esthetician and a nutritionist. And I started a spa. I owned a wellness spa in Baltimore for 6 years, which was very successful and I loved it. It was such an amazing experience. And then we moved to Germany. And so I had to close down my spa, moved to Germany, and then I just did some like admin jobs. I worked for the USO for a while there, and then I did open up just a private practice of massage while we were in Germany, because I missed it so much. So, and then when we moved to Hawaii, again, just, you know, like tried to pick up some admin jobs that didn't last very long because then the pandemic hit and I lost my job. And so that was kind of the catalyst for starting this and trying to do this full time. I had been writing my blog for now it's been 10 years, and doing, you know, influencer type stuff. Oh, that's the other thing. I didn't count in any of my my like promotions and collaborations because that is still very variable as well. But I mean, I haven't made a ton of money with collaborations, you know, but it's, yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that are just trying to not pay influencers. They're just trying to do gifted, and I no longer do gifted. So, they got to pay me. They got to pay me my rate, and a lot of them just don't want to do that. So I'm kind of pulling back on some of those collaborations and influencer stuff, because there's a lot of content creators out there that are getting taken advantage of, and I hate it. I hate to see that happening. And but anyway, that's a whole different story that maybe we can talk about some other time. Okay, I think we are going to stop there. I don't want this video to get too lengthy, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for everybody who sent in your question. And I hope this, you know, helped you get to know me a little bit better. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful for all of you who are following me. Thank you so much for getting me to 10,000. And I have to admit, I really want to stay in this, like, oh, I'm so excited, I'm so happy about 10,000, but I somehow also want to start reaching ahead and you know, trying to hit that next milestone. But I don't want to lose sight of where I'm at now, how we got here, and just be excited for it. So you know, I've got one foot in the, I'm super excited, I'm content, I'm happy with this, and then another foot in, you know, let's look forward and try to do even more. So I just want to thank you all so very much. I absolutely love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.